The key to all understanding lies in recognizing our true nature, what we are. So the phrase, the affirmation, I am, is this key. And it's no coincidence that the root chakra, the energy center at the base of our spine, has the affirmation, I am. So I would like to explore the power of I am with you and also share a few practices along the way to have direct experience of the power of this affirmation. So if you're able, I invite you to have a seat on the ground, especially out in nature if you're able. And as you sit comfortably, simply say to yourself, I am. You may also close your eyes and say, I am. I am. Observe what is felt, what is experienced when you say this affirmation, this mantra. Is there any limitation to this experience? Not adding anything to the I am, just staying as the I am. You can sit with this exercise as long as you want. It is very, very powerful. So I'd like to explore this I am with you. And this is something that I do extensively in my latest book, Finding Freedom Where You Are. So I'll be sure to include a link in the description if you'd like to read some free sample pages from that book. And before getting into this exploration, I would like to first share that my spiritual journey has involved an exploration of all different paths. And I have great respect for all and have come to see the overlap and the oneness at the root of them all. So I'd like to do something a little special, and that is to share a few biblical teachings tied with Eastern wisdom to illuminate and provide a perspective of these teachings that I was able to have through this overlapping study of these spiritual traditions. So first, in the book of Exodus, there's a famous scene where Moses talks to God, and God says, I am that I am. In the book of John, Jesus also has a moment where he shares, before Abraham was, I am. So we'll remember that and come back to it. Let's first really explore this I am from a way that I was able to explore with the Advaita Vedanta tradition. So if we just say I am is first a recognition that I exist. I am is the first recognition you must have in the morning. It's consciousness, it's existence. So when we recognize this as I am, in this way, I am becomes the portal into all existence. We must first exist before we can experience. So whatever you say after I am becomes your experience. So if you say, for example, I am happy, and you really sit with this and you feel this, into your awareness comes many reasons to be happy. For me in this moment, there's a feeling, it's a sunny, beautiful day. I'm in a beautiful place, beautiful people, beautiful nature, and I am peace. I am peace. I am joy. I am is the portal into this experience. So it's always wise to monitor what we're adding after I am. And it doesn't mean that you're not able to have emotions that are not positive. The full spectrum of experience exists for you. So it's very natural. But we must know that we always have the potential and opportunity to return to our truest state, which is happiness, joy, and peace. And usually those other experiences are because of some interference that is not allowing us to see what we truly are, our infinite, boundless self. So when we recognize I am as this infinite portal into experience, one way that we can perceive the biblical teachings is to pause from thinking of God as an external being, as is often done in the Western world. If we recognize instead that I am is a reference to our God self, our God nature, the highest potential, or even the God within, we recognize that this I am is simply a code for infinite consciousness, for the ability to experience. And so we see that Jesus came into this recognition. When he said, I and my Father are one, he was referring to this recognition, or one interpretation that I'm sharing is this recognition of both God and Jesus existing in and as this I am. So our highest potential is to recognize ourselves, our true infinite selves, not our personal self, personal identity, our true infinite nature as the I am. This allows for full liberation and is liberation. It is the peace, freedom, joy, and love that you truly are without limitation. And it lies in recognizing the I am as being what you are. So even for a moment, if we perceive God as being other, how can God be everywhere except within you? Even in the Bible, I believe in the book of Luke, it said that the kingdom of heaven lies within. So if we recognize this God nature, this God self within, we have the same realization of the infinite potential and reality that is the I am. So I invite you to really sit with this perspective. Try it on for yourself. Make sure it is consistent with your own experience. And Sri Ramana Maharshi famously had this teaching to question the method of self-inquiry. Who am I? So one very powerful practice is to simply sit with the question, who am I? Who am I? And just observe what arises. Allow all personal identifiers, name, gender, career, family, all of that to pass. And see what remains. It is very often that truth appears in silence as silence. As we recognize that there's no limitation, no boundary to infinite consciousness. What Jesus said before Abraham was, I am, makes sense, because even though those two individual beings existed at different times, the I am is infinite, which means it is not bound by time or space or place. It simply is. And when we know this isness to be our essential nature, we are free. And of course, that is what I always wish for you. I thank you for being here, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Namaste.